Hey everybody, happy Monday, Rob Booker here. Best-selling author of Adventures of a Currency Trader and Trading by Faith and blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. Super happy to be here together with you. I was working on my Don Draper surprised reaction today. I was working on that from Mad Men, of course. And I'm going to try to do it right now. I'm going to try to, before we get started here, I'm going to try to do my best Don Draper. I don't know. That wasn't really good. That wasn't really the reaction I was looking for. All right, I'm going to move the camera just a little bit so you can still see my head. I think the camera keeps moving down. Every time I move it, it keeps moving down. And so it doesn't really matter whatever I do. Okay, there we are. Hey, how you doing? All right, today I want to talk about, I don't know, a couple of things. But one of the big things I want to talk about is why people generally, well, I don't want to get into like the same old questions. The same old things. But I do want to get around to an important topic, which is consistency. That's the topic, right? How to be more consistent. And what I mean with respect to consistency is what's the difference between somebody who makes, let's say, $50,000 in one trade, and the person who makes $50,000 over the course of 500 trades. And the difference between these two people is that this dude is going to blow out because they're going for the big win, and they're not happy unless they're making a ton of money. And this person has learned to do something consistently and repeatedly, and because of that is going to be able to survive for the long term and is going to be able to be a profitable trader, or at least has a greater likelihood of that. But the problem is most people are not consistent in their trading, and that goes into a deeper issue. And the reason I didn't want to use the word consistent or failure or whatever is because trading is by definition hard. I started in the year 2001, and as many of you know, I've said this, I've told this story before. I was $150,000 in debt. My business partner had fled the country, and I was basically destitute. I didn't know how to pay my bills, didn't know how to pay my rent, had no chance of starting a family, had no chance of taking care of my family, except for the fact that I basically worked my butt off. I did legal work on the side, I built web pages for people, I did everything I possibly could, and then I borrowed $2,500 from a friend of mine, Matt Zagula, who lent that money to me, and then I promptly blew this account up. And trading was hard. I didn't know what to trade, I didn't know when to trade it. I bought books about trading, I tried my very best to interpret a system from a book and then apply it to the charts, but there were too many systems in the book and there were too many indicators on the charts and there were too many things to focus on. And here's the problem. There's too much to focus on. And so here's what happens with traders. Traders go, okay, well there's too much to focus on, so I'm finally going to focus, and I'm going to have one focus on one system and one indicator. Okay. Great, fantastic. And then what happens is this person realizes, oh my gosh, I can't make enough money I can make money from this, but I can't make enough. And now I'm despondent again. So here's the cycle, here's how it goes. It goes from high hopes, high hopes, yay, super happy, to oh, poop. So unhappy because I took a big loss on my first account, to, oh, I'm going to focus. High hopes and happiness, to, oh, sad face. Sad face because I realized that I can make money, but now I can't make enough money. So where do you find the balance in that? So today I want to talk about what I think is the answer. It's one answer, it's not the answer, but I think I've got something that is the answer. So as all of you know, I run a bunch of robots. And you can see these robots on the screen here. The robots shut off last week, and I don't know what the heck happened. And so I just turned these back on today, and I wonder if I can take a screenshot of this. I'm not sure I can, but I'm going to try. And I wonder if I can make this larger once, I don't know. Okay, well, I'm not sure I can make this larger, but hopefully you can see this in HD, and then over the course of the next week or so, or a few days, I'll figure out how to increase the size. So while these robots were turned off by accident, the New Zealand dollar and the British pound New Zealand dollar went into some significant amount of profit. So I'm going to close those while I'm here. Now, I say significant amount of profit, but what I really mean is just significant amount of profit compared to what they usually make. So I'm going to bank some profit there, just small amounts of money. And you might be looking at those numbers and say, well, this is a $10,000 account and only made $8.91. So here we go. Here's the journey. Let's talk about exactly what I said we were going to make. Small gains, right? So small gains over time. So how does this what does this mean? I mean like 2 to 3% per month. And so someone might say, well, that's small. That's only 24 to 30% a year, and I can't survive on that, especially if I start with a small account. Well, that's no surprise, and I completely understand that, and that's completely reasonable. So here's the story. So in 2001, I was a failure at trading, super depressed about it, super upset about it. And would anybody like a Jelly Belly? If you'd like one, just come on down to the office. We should have some office hours, by the way. I have had some of the greatest experiences and met with some of the most successful traders of all time who came to the office. So for those of you last week that took advantage of the offer, and for those of you that are lifetime members, why don't we do something at the office here in January, like January 5th and 6th? If that's interesting to you, if that interests you, don't email me because I'm never going to see my email. Leave a comment on the Facebook post below, or leave a comment in the YouTube comments after the video posts. All right. So it's 2002. I've blown my first account, but I'm finally making money. And I'm making small amounts of money on a small $5,000 to $10,000 account at the time. Started with 5, got another 5. Borrowed it from family. And so I'm sitting here making small, insignificant gains. And I'm thinking to myself, well, now I've made some money, but I haven't made enough to support my family. And so what I did was I went big on one economic report. I think it was 2003, 2004. And I went big and I lost most of it again. Because I went big, because I got super disappointed that I wasn't making enough money. And when I thought that I wasn't making enough money, that's when everything went wrong. And that's just absolutely ridiculous, but it's totally true. And then I had to start all over again. And so here's what I learned. Here was the solution. And it's the same solution for someone that would be running a robot that was consistent. So I run a robot because it's consistent. And because the gains are small, but they are consistent, and I don't get into big trouble. And so that's the number one rule, right? The number one rule is don't lose your trading stake, because then you can't make any money at all. So the robot is just plugging away, right? Do, 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 and it's just doing plus sign, 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 plus sign. So what's happening during this time that the robot is producing these plus signs? And no system is perfect, and I'm not trying to brag about anything. I'm just saying, listen, what happens when you have this amount of consistency? Your confidence goes up. This is a scientific fact. When a crab, little crab here, let's just draw a little crab. That's the worst crab ever. But there's a little crab. When he wins a battle against another crab, his serotonin levels spike upwards and he feels like a winner. And then he's more likely, even if he's smaller than the original one, he's more likely to win his next battle and then win again. In other words, winning fosters and leads to more winning. So even if the gains are small, the number one thing you're going to get when you have something like a robot running consistently, the number one thing you're going to get is confidence. And you cannot underestimate the value of this confidence when it comes to trading. One of the major differences between traders who are successful and traders who are unsuccessful, and one of the most perplexing things for a brand new trader to understand is, I could be trading the same system as you. You could be trading the same system as somebody that you're watching on YouTube, and you're not doing it well, but they are doing it well. And the only difference might be actually that that other person is confident, so they don't jump out of trades and they don't get worried and they don't get panicked and then that confidence backs them up. So they're in the middle of a fight and they realize, I won the last fight when I was tired and I was down and I was upset, and I'm going to win this fight too. Whereas a brand new trader or a trader that lacks confidence or a trader that hasn't been winning lacks the confidence, and so they're in the middle of a fight in the market or whatever, and they back off. And they remember the last time I backed off and I lived to fight another day. And so there's this unspoken quality of confidence that leads to consistency. And it's a really big deal. It's a major big deal. And you cannot underestimate the confidence. And what do you do with that confidence? Well, here's what happens with this confidence. What happens with this confidence is you're building these small wins over time, and then boom, all of a sudden, in the series of a bunch of smaller trades, something goes wrong, and for the average, less successful trader, this situation leads to a major loss. Something goes wrong. So if we go over here to my robot account, there's like a 0.5% a loss on the New Zealand dollar, Canadian dollar, and a 0.7% loss on the Euro New Zealand dollar. So for an unsuccessful trader who's feeling a lack of confidence, that leads to a loss. They close that out, or they get worried, or that's much larger for them because they were not satisfied with small wins, so they had their trade size that was too big, and so all of a sudden they take a big loss. But for someone like you and me, you and I? Which one am I supposed to say? You and I, this is where you get the big, big win. That a moment of difficulty when your back is against the wall and you're up against the ropes and this fighter is throwing punches at you, that you realize that that fighter is exhausting themselves and you can take the heat, you can take the punches, you remember the last time that you won, you have confidence built up from a bunch of small wins. So imagine two fighters in the ring and they're fighting against each other, and fighter number one and fighter number two, right? And fighter number two has their back against the ropes and is like sweating and, like worried, and this guy's just throwing some really big, lightning punches. And this person is thinking, I won a bunch of small rounds earlier. I'm going to let this guy wear himself out, and then I'm going to go in for the kill when that guy's exhausted. So what you can do is you can actually use small wins that don't look like much to other people and might even embarrass you at a cocktail party if somebody asks you what you're doing. You can use those small wins and you can build those up over time to build your confidence. I know what I'm doing, the robot's doing well, I'm building up this confidence. And now, boom, something goes wrong. I'm going to let the market exhaust itself. I'm going to let the market go against me. I'm going to let it throw all the punches it can. And because my trade size is small, and because all of my training has prepared me for this, I have the cardio, I have the confidence, I have the consistency in previous rounds of fighting, that I'm not worried about this. The market can do this to me, and I'm not going to be frustrated. I'm not going to be worried. I might be wearing down. I might be bloodied up a little bit. But as soon as I see an opening, I'm going to go for the kill. As soon as the Euro New Zealand finishes off this disgusting trend of it that it's going through, I'm going to look for the kill. So this is what it looks like for me. This is what it looks like. This is right here, the beginning stages of when a financial instrument starts to turn around for me. Now, I'm not saying it's going to do it right here, but I'm saying this is what it looks like. And when it blows up above this level here, all this trend that's gone against me is like a fighter throwing a bunch of punches at me and wearing themselves out while they do it. And then this part is where they let down their guard and they're exhausted. It's when the bears, in this case, these are the bears that are doing the trend, they become exhausted. They exhaust themselves. Like literally the traders who are selling are exhausted. They wear themselves out. And then I go in for the kill. And so what looks like the biggest defeat becomes the biggest victory. It's how you put yourself in the position of champion, the comeback hero, the comeback kid, whatever. And you can, and this is exactly what the program of successful trading looks like. This is what it looks like. You build confidence by doing well over time. And then you let things go wrong every once in a while because you don't have some kind of unreasonable, stupid expectation that everything's going to be fine all the time. And you don't let the bad experiences kill you. And then you just come right out when things go wrong and use the worst situations as the chance to have the biggest success. So that's how it's done. For those of you that are interested, I've got a 72-hour robot sale that's coming up this weekend. It starts on Friday. So for those of you that want to trade these robots together with me, on Friday, this robot sale opens and it will last for 72 hours. So Friday, November 30th, Saturday, December 1st, and Sunday, December 2nd. That'll be the best price you can get on the robots all year long. If you go to my homepage at robbooker.com, you will see, we don't need all those notifications, Microsoft. You will see on the homepage an image, or you can click a link below this video or above this video once it's all posted online, and you can get on the list. If you don't already have the robots, you can get in on that action, plus some special bonuses that aren't available any other time of the year. I love the crap out of you. Thanks for being here, everybody. If you like the video, leave a like, leave a comment, let me know how you feel, let me know your questions, let me know your comments, and subscribe to the channel. Somewhere around here right now there should be a subscription button, and I will see you tomorrow at 9 a.m. Central Time. I'm Rob Booker. Have the best day ever. Oh wait, I didn't shut that off.